I hope you had a wonderful week and everything was going well. Okay. Let me try to share my screen with you, and then we can kickstart today's project. But before we continue, I just want to chip in something quickly. For the assignments and then the homework or the quizzes that we'll be having moving forward. For the homework, it's always going to be 2 attempts. For the quiz, it's also just an attempt. I will entreat each and every one to just have time for it. Okay, this is a multiple choice question. There is nothing about competition here. Before you sit for the exams, just take your time. If you don't have time to do it, don't get in. For the homework, you have a second chance, but for the quiz, it's only 15 questions, and I don't want anybody to come out with low grades at the end of the day. I want everybody to at least understand the material and also get good grades. That's what we are aiming for. So if I look at the test and then I see that others are just spending about maybe 5-7 minutes and then they come up with a very bad grade, I feel like I'm not sure if people are just playing game with it to see if they're gonna win at the end of the day. But be very prepared before you get into the website to take that quiz or homework. I believe it will help all of us. This is just 10 and 15 questions, and no matter what it is, you should be able to at least have a pass mark. All right, so please, let's take it serious, because this is the beginning of the semester. As we move forward, we will be entering into difficult, I'm not going to say difficult, challenging topics. So making good grades at the beginning of the class is better. You don't have to get to the end of the class and then you'll be struggling. And I wish you all the best. Okay, let me try to share the screen quickly, then we can roll today's project into it. Can we all see the screen from your end?
Yes, Professor, we can see your slide.
Good. Any question before we continue? All right, that's fine.
None from my side.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yes, I'm saying none from my side.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think silence means consent, and I believe everybody is okay with that. Let's try to kickstart today's project. We're going to talk about demand today, as we might all have gone through the slides in the course of the week. So at least we should have some knowledge about it, and we're going to go into details, and that is why we are here. Just feel free, if you have any challenge, again, feel free to at least bring it up, then we'll be able to do justice to it, and by the end of the day we will be able to go home with something out of this class, and that is our goal. All right, so we're gonna kickstart that. That is demand, and The topics as we will be treating, I think you have it on your chart as well. We'll be treating the introduction to markets and then prices. We have had some prior information on markets, and we're going to link that to prices. And we have the law of demand. We'll be looking at law of demand in terms of marginal benefits, purchasing power, and then substitute. We'll be doing that. And we also we'll be talking about the market demand, the change in demand, determinants of demand, and we'll be basing that on the income, taste and preferences, and also the number of buyers and then expectations. Then finally, we will deal with substitutes and complements, all under the determinants of demand. That's what we are going to be doing today. Anyway, so without wasting time, we're going to move closely into markets. In the past week, we have been talking about what market is. We have at least explained it. We have also demonstrated it. We have illustrated it into details, and each and every one by now should understand what we term as a market. Should understand what we term as a market. So as we all know, it's just a simple place that each and everyone goes in there to make business. It could be anywhere. And in the past, we might have heard saying that it could be even in somebody's bedroom. Yes. In your shorts, we have a traditional type of market. Yes, that does not mean we will not be able to do markets also in the modern way, whereby you will be able to have more, and then you go in there, everything is there, supermarket where you go in, everything in there. Yes, this is the kind of market we are talking about, and each and everyone also knows about that. How trade happens in a market? How does trade happens in a market? I don't know if somebody will have to go and then write something and then bring it into the market for it to create market, or for market to happen. How does market happens? Well, prices and quantities, they are traded, okay? They are traded, and they are the kind of interaction between that prices and quantities, okay, comes with that kind of interaction between buyers and sellers that brings a trade. Okay, I'm not sure if someone understood what I'm saying. Prices and then quantities that buyers and sellers trade. Before they come into the trade, they will have to interact. They will have to, each and everyone will have to consider. You are bringing in $2 for maybe a cup of oil. Is that okay with me? You need to consider. You need to at least let something go out of you to make sure that you are gaining. At a point, you create the market when both of you comes to understand each other. Okay, that is what we are talking about as a market. That's how market happens, or that's how trade happens in a market. You take your goods from home, you get to the market, a buyer comes in, and then the buyer also looks at what you have. Then there will be some sort of consideration as to what you are selling and as to what the buyer is also willing to buy or purchase that item for. And then agreement comes into place, then you'll be able to strike a deal. And that is what we are talking about as how trade happens in a market. That's how trade happens in the market. For a trade to take place, the terms of trade has to be between the buyer and the seller. Okay, it has to be between the buyer and the seller for that kind of opportunity cost. You know, you lose something for something to at least come in. If you want to gain something, you have to lose something in order for that to happen. That is how trade happens. I'm not sure if somebody can tell us whether it is sellers who set prices or is buyers. I don't know. Is it sellers who set prices or is buyers? Can somebody explain to us?
Both of them.
Oh, Nora, thank you. Thank you, Nora. Both of them. Okay. That means if I get to Nora's market, I cannot use maybe my position as a professor in the class to maybe get a cheaper price. It's up to me and Nora or whoever is selling to come into an agreement as to the value of the product to the buyer and the value of the sale to the seller. I hope I'm making sense to all of us. So that was what Noran said. It's both of us. Both of us makes that kind of deal. So it's neither the buyer or the seller. So the seller or the buyer will not determine the price. You cannot just go and sit in your house and say, hey, I want to maybe do sell this, and then as a result, all sellers will have to buy it at that price. Don't forget, having said that does not mean that there is no monopolistic market. Okay, this is something out of our content now, but for a perfect market or a competitive market, yes, one cannot just sit at one place and say, I'm going to just set the price. But in a monopolistic market, can happen. Okay, I hope this understanding is clear to each and every one. All right, key insights. Prices and quantities traded are determined by the interaction of buyers and sellers in a market. This is all that I'm trying to say. Okay, it's not just one person. The prices and quantities traded are determined by the interaction of buyers and sellers. Okay, in other words, it is being determined by the forces of demand and supply. Okay, prices and quantities traded are determined by the interaction of buyers and sellers. Okay, in a market. So that is how it happens. That is how it happens. The marketplace facilitates the interaction of buyers and then the sellers, which means it allows them to maybe interact and find a mutual agreeable price. Like I said earlier on, I cannot just go into maybe any market or any seller and try to maybe play like I'm in charge of say I'm the mayor of New York. Therefore, I'll be able to set the price for the seller that I'm trying to buy from. No, it doesn't happen like that. No one side will set the price, okay, unless the interaction of the buyer and the seller comes into play. Okay, just feel free to just interrupt me when you do not understand anything. The impact of supply and demand on price. The impact of supply and demand on price. Prices are driven by both buyers' demand for the good and service, okay, and the products or the producer's willingness to also supply the goods and service. Okay, so if at the end of the day, I'm producing, or we are producing, because we are talking about a competitive market, we are producing books, okay, and 20 books are being produced. At the end of the day, that forces or that willingness that we are prepared to produce, which is 30 copies, will go out there to meet the purchasers or the buyers who are ready to also consume that amount of copies being produced. And this is going to determine the price at the end of the day, because the quantities that are being produced will determine how many that will be available for buyers to also consume. All right. The law of demand. The law of demand. The law of demand. What does that mean? Those who might have done economics in the past will understand a little bit about this. There is a simple law in economics that has to deal with demand. And it says that all things being equal, okay? All things being equal, okay? The price of goods or services rises, okay, when the demand decreases, okay? All things being equal, or all other things remaining constant, prices of goods and services will rise when the quantity demanded decrease. So, as I said earlier on, if we are producing 30 books, but the buyers are willing and prepared to buy more than 30, what happens? Okay, it's going to create, it's going to increase the demand, thereby affecting the price. Okay, again, all things remaining constant, we do say that all things remaining constant or all other things remaining unchanged, because Nora might have a different taste. So even if you produce that book and that is what she's been buying and it's at an exorbitant price, she might still go for that book. Okay, that is preference, taste and preference. It could also have so many effects on it, as we will be talking about. We have the income effect and others. Okay, so all things being equal, if the price or prices of goods and services rises, it means the quantity demand will definitely decrease. It means the buyers will not be prepared to buy the products at a higher price. That is all things being equal. But if we're taking all things being equal out of there, it means I don't have any choice. The choice is, that is my preference. That's what I like. So if that book is being sold at maybe $20,000, I'll still buy it because that is what I like and that is my choice. Okay, so that is the law of demand. I'm not sure if anybody have a question as we move forward. Please feel free to interrupt me and I'll be prepared to also give you the hearing ear. Okay, so as you can see from here, the demand schedule is telling us, we see the price over there, right? 16. When the price was at $16, the quantity which the buyers were prepared to buy, or the amount of goods they were able to buy at the price 16 was just one quantity, or a unit 1. Okay, when they reduced the price to $13, they were able to afford what? 3 pieces of those items. Okay, and it goes down to 10. When they reduced the price to 10, their purchasing power went up to 5. And same applies to $7. Their purchasing power also went up to 6. Consider the $4, their purchasing power went as far as being able to purchase 9 items. Okay, and that is what we are talking about, that if all things being equal, okay, all things being equal, when the price of the good rises, quantity demanded will decrease. It means no matter what it is, all things remaining constant, if the price is at 16, we will always have a reduced in what? Purchasing power. Then when it reduces in terms of price, our purchasing power will always go up. And that is what we are trying to put across. I hope we do get that. Let's look at the schedule. let's look at the schedule for movies. Okay, demand for movies. Demand for movies. That is the schedule that we just spoke about. This is a curve. This is a schedule, and this curve is giving us this information as to when it was 16 cities. This is what we are trying to buy, or what the buyer was able to afford. That is the quantity, which is 1. So on this axis is the quantity, and this is the price. Okay, so when they reduce the price to 13, you can see it over here. We were able to afford 3, or the buyer was able to afford 3 pieces. And same applies to what? The $10, they were able to afford 5. When it was $7, they were able to afford 7. When it went to $4, they were able to afford 9 pieces. So this is how you manage to draw your curve, and this is how it's gonna go. Okay, it's gonna go off this. I'm not sure we are all following. My mouse will be seen moving along where your curve will be drawn. Okay, and that's where you have your demand curve. Don't forget, the demand curve slopes from left to right. The demand curve slopes from left to right. What did I do? Okay, yes, so this is how it's gonna go from left to right. That is the demand for movies. Okay, let's keep moving forward. Okay, so that's the demand curve we are talking about here. It slopes downwards from left to right. So don't forget, the demand curve slopes downwards from left to right. That's the demand curve. We do have a question here for us to discuss. We do have a question here for us to discuss. It says, describe a product for which you have no demand and explain why. Can somebody say something?
If it is really expensive, I mean, expensive beyond the capability of any buyer. So no one will demand this product.
I did not catch that, Ahmed. Can you raise your voice a little bit?
If the product is very expensive, okay, and no one can afford this, like it is ridiculously expensive. No one can afford it. So no one will be, there will be no demand for this product.
Okay. Okay, who else? Any other idea?
Professor?
Sometimes the product is so antique, no one would like to use it. For example, fashion designs, or maybe like modernized. So it is not that convenient for today. At the time, no demands. Yes. For example, so we have some maybe, for example, keypads like a mobile phone, like a Nokia. Now no one would like to use it because technology already developing, already developed. Yes.
Okay. Before you
Outdated,
go,
yes,
Chan.
yes, he's correct.
Yes.
Good. Before you go, I want you to use the economic term. Why is it that there is no demand?
So
Anybody can use what we are looking for?
Professor?
Yes.
I think every product itself, they has a demand, but subjecting to the end user or the consumer, some product will have no demand. For example, right, if we were to sell boats to persons who are living in the desert, I think this product, the boat product, will have no demand itself because the people will think that this boat, if they purchase, they has no utility value in it, and they won't be benefit. They won't have any benefit to them. So I think that's why this product is actually based on end user or the consumer itself.
You are all right. All of you are right. I was looking for a word that will qualify all that we are saying. There should be, don't forget, in demand, see, the definition for demand is telling us that what the buyers are willing and prepared to buy. Okay, so once they are not willing to buy, it becomes what? It becomes no non-needed. You understand? It becomes unnecessary or a non-needed product or item for them. So we are unwilling to buy a certain product for a reason that we are not willing to do that, because one, it's not something that we are interested in. Maybe I'm not sure if it is Ahmed or it's Cole or it's Chan who cited that example. Nokia phone is too archaic. I don't want to buy that now. Or maybe Nokia 3310. If someone sees me using it, they will laugh at me. So they are not willing, okay, and prepared to buy that. So all of you are correct, but don't forget the willingness to buy is a key in demand. Okay, the willingness and the preparedness. You know, don't forget, we always say that demand is backed by money. Demand is backed by money. Having a mere interest in something does not mean you'll be able to get it, because demand is backed by money. I hope the explanation is clear. Good. So that is what we do have. Okay, that is what we do have. The unwillingness to purchase makes it clear that is why they don't want to go in for that. Good. Let's look at the law of demand in terms of marginal benefit, purchasing power, and substitute. This, we have to make it so practical for everybody to understand. Again, I want to always make this class so lively that at the end of the day, if I do say something and you don't remember, a colleague of yours will say something and you do remember, okay? Because that is a practical class. Whenever you have a class like that, you definitely go home with something, okay? So there are these three reasons why demand curve will slope downwards. Okay, there are these three reasons why the demand curve will slope downwards. That is the law of demand is based on that. The law of demand is based on that. We say income effect. Can somebody tell us something just based on the name?
The purchasing power.
Okay, go ahead.
Noran, right? Go ahead.
Yes, the income effect is when the purchasing power increase of someone according to the price decrease of the product. So he will be able to buy more or less according to you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody on income effect? Thank you, Noran.
I think it should be the effect on income, because if the prices go high, okay, our purchasing power, the purchasing power of our income gets affected. This is what I'm saying. It shouldn't be income effect. It should be effect on income.
I think that is okay. You can say that. You can say effect on income, but the name of that reason is being put as income effect. In other books, you might see effect on income. That's fine. Right? Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Good. Anyone else on income effects?
Well, Professor, I think that it's the effect of the income, because it talks about the budget of someone. So if I have $40, with me, I have the purchasing power of something valued as $40. But if I have $20, then I have the purchasing power or the ability to buy something as of value of $20. So my income affects my purchasing power. That's why it's called income effect.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mansoor. So we all at least understood this basic information that no matter what it is, if your income, okay, remain the same, okay, or let me put it that you will be able to buy more with the same amount of money, okay, when the price of goods goes down, okay. That is what this is all about, as we might have explained earlier on when we're looking at the curve and then the schedule. Okay, so as the price of a goods goes down, the money that you have gained, okay, or the money in your power, it's okay, sorry, in your pocket, you will have greater purchasing power. We look at that that example, that when it was at I think $14, they were able to buy only one of the product, and as it reduces, they're able to buy more. That is the income effect. Diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing marginal utility. Anybody can tell us something? Diminishing marginal utility.
It is the satisfaction we gain from consuming the product, and how it gets less by consuming more of the product.
Okay, good. Good. Thank you, Ahmed. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'll just add, he has explained well. I think it's just the usefulness. When you take a particular commodity, its usefulness diminishes with your satisfaction. The more you take something, if I was taking one ice cream today or soda today, if I keep taking the soda, my satisfaction will reach to a maximum, and I'll not have the demand for that particular product.
Okay, so that is true, but I want to correct something here. It cannot be a day, okay? So we will put all things being equal, so that it cannot be that you go out there today, you eat ice cream, tomorrow you might have that kind of taste or the preference to go in for ice cream, but on a continuous basis, when you keep using a product for the first time, second time, the third time, you see that your satisfaction is getting to the point that you might not even need it again. So the real situation might be that you buy the ice cream on the spot. Okay, you go out during the sunny day, you buy ice cream on the spot. You eat the first one. At the same time, you buy the second one, you eat, okay, maybe with a specific price, okay? At the third one, again, you buy and then you eat the third one. You see that the satisfaction or the interest or the willingness, the preparedness to buy more after the third one is going to reduce or might reduce based on the satisfaction. This becomes very real when we want to use water, okay? Everybody is tasty when it's sunny. So you go out there, you feel so tasty. You get to a supermarket, you ask for a bottle of water, okay? They give you the bottle of water and they tell you, oh, it's maybe $20. Because you are so thirsty, you will buy it, right? The second bottle of water, they tell you it's $20. Probably you are not satisfied. You will buy it. The third bottle, they tell you it's $20. What happens? Because you might have at least gotten a bottle of or two into your stomach or into your system, you might not need that third bottle so much. Therefore, your value or your satisfaction is going to go to the level that you might not be interested because it has now reduced. And that becomes an economic problem individually, and it can also affect companies, and it's a global issue. I'm not sure if this water aspect makes it clear for all of us. I believe that is the best example that I can cite for all of us to understand. Anyone have something to say on that? Good. Substitution effect. Substitution effect.
I think for substitution effect, this is where if a brand raises its prices, you find that the consumer will opt for another alternative. If let's say it was someone prefers beef and the beef goes high, they'll take the chicken as an alternative.
Good. Thank you, Sarah. But one thing, we don't have to forget our economic term. All things being equal, right? Or all other things remaining constant.
Sure.
Right? Good.
Yeah.
So she did explain it perfectly. All right. That's all that this substitution substitution effect is all about. So all things remaining constant or all things remaining equal. If you increase the price of beef, I'm going to go for chicken. Okay. So that is how a competitive market operates. That's how a competitive market operates. Anybody with anything other than what we are saying? Anybody want to share something? Good.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead.
So means that if there's substitution effect, there's a decrease in the sales for the product.
Come again.
If there's a substitution effect, the product will decrease. There's a decrease in sales for a product.
Substitution effect. If there is a substitution effect, would there be a decrease in product? Which product are we talking about?
Any product, because we are talking about substitution, right?
Well, all things being equal.
If I substitute any product.
I'm not sure. Let me explain this to you here then. All things being equal, if there is an increase in product A, people will shift to product B. Therefore, there might be a reduction in the product of product B because a lot of people will be buying it. Again, all things being equal. Are we clear?
Okay.
Right, because all of us gonna go for chicken, so chicken is gonna reduce no matter what it is. That is all things being equal. Right? Anybody with a different thoughts?
Professor, I think that it's not always about the price of a product to switch to another alternative. Sometimes
that's why we say all things being equal, all things remaining constant.
Okay.
Right?
So, yes. Sometimes it's the expectation of a customer. Maybe it's not her or his expectation of the price, but maybe the expectation of the specifications of a product or service. So that's one way that customers switch to other alternatives.
That is exactly what we are talking about.
Yes, because another product can satisfy the needs or expectation of a customer better than the other product.
That's true. That's exactly true. So in economics, what we use over there to qualify it is to say all things remaining constant or all other factors remaining the same, because the taste and preference is there. Okay. It could happen that, hey, no matter what it is, I love beef. So just increase the price of beef and I'll still go for it. You understand? That is what we are trying to say. So all things or all other factors remaining the same, yes, this is the scenario we will have. I know maybe Mansoon's ahead of the class, but I believe we'll get to where you are going now. There is a question for all of us. Suppose you have only $20 to spend on gasoline each week. If the price of gasoline, okay, is $2 a gas, how many gallons can you purchase?
40 gallons.
10 gallons.
I had 40 gallons. I had 10.
B.
Did I hear another 10?
Yes, Professor, it's B, 10 gallons.
Okay. So can somebody explain to us why is it 10?
10 multiplied by 2 is 20. The money that we possess.
So why is it 10? 10 multiplied by 20.
Yes, because a gallon is $2. So we have $20, then we will be able to purchase, and we have the purchase power of 10 gallons of oil.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we are all clear on this. Okay, we have only $20 to spend on gasoline each week. Okay, if the price of a gallon of gasoline is $2, there is nothing you can do. Okay, there is nothing you can do to buy the gallon of petrol or gas at $2, and what you can buy is only 10 gallons. Anybody having confusion? Anybody have a different thought? Okay, let's move forward then. Here you go with another illustration, another practical question. Again, now suppose the price, okay, suppose the price of gasoline rises from $2 per gallon to $4 per gallon. You still have $20 to spend on gas each week. But now, how many gallons can you purchase? This is a real situation. About 4 months ago, wherever you are under the sun, your gas price wasn't the same. So this has changed. Okay, so if your budget for every week, which is $20, okay, for last 3-4 months, it has changed from the price of gas, which is $2 during that 3-4 months. Right now it's $4. So how much can you purchase? How many gallons are you able to buy now?
$5 gallons.
Yes, sir, 5 gallons.
Okay. It is so simple. All right. We're going to divide that 20 by 4, and then we get what? 5 gallons. That is, it means, don't forget, you have a limited resources. We have spoken about this last week, last 2 weeks. A limited resources of $20. So you are basing your purchase on that. So if the price of the product has increased from $2 to $4, you can only buy what? 5 gallons. I hope we are all clear here. Okay, we have explained the effects of on income or income effect. We have explained that. Okay, we have explained the diminishing marginal utility. An example for this diminishing marginal utility. I'm not sure if that's what I cited. I cited, I think, water, right? We have another example here that we can all look at. Okay, we can all look at this example here. And this example is about, it says, as people consume more of a good during a fixed time period, the satisfaction received from each additional unit falls. Okay, for example, each additional orange you eat gives you a little less benefits. Okay, so at a point, after eating maybe 2 or 3, your benefits will reduce, and the interest or the willingness or the preparedness to at least go in for more will go down. And that's all we are talking about. That's all that we are talking about. Okay, that's all that we are talking about. So let's see the next slide here, and it's about substitution effect. Substitution effect. I think we spoke about that. We have explained the meaning of that. Substitution effect. Wait a second. Where is this? What happened to my? Are you able to still see the slide?
No, Professor, we cannot see your screen anymore.
No, sir.
What is happening? Okay. There we go.
We can now.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm hoping this.
We can see now.
Okay. So we were talking about I think slide 22. Slide 22 is where we were. Okay, that was diminishing marginal utility. So substitution effect. Substitution effect. We have spoken about this. That is, all things being equal, if the price increases, yes, people will go in for other products. It's just obvious. It's just obvious that no matter what it is, if you decide to go in to increase the price, or if the price goes up, yes, you have people's demand fluctuating or moving into other products. Okay, and that is the substitution effect. If the price of pizza goes up, do you still buy pizza? Well, if I do have the money, I'll continue buying pizza. If I am so interested in eating pizza, if pizza is my preference, if all things being equal, if I do not have all these things that I'm saying, I don't have the money, it's not my preference, I would definitely switch. You would do the same as an ordinary human being with limited resources. All things being equal, if there is an increase in price of one product that you have been buying, you will, in one way or the other, move into the substitute if all things remain constant or all other factors remain constant. Then we go with another question for us to discuss. Another question. When the economics department serves all you can eat ice cream at its annual spring student recruiting event, you eat 3 ice cream cone. You really enjoy the first, the second is just okay, and the third is tasteless. What does this mean? What effect is this?
This one is diminishing marginal utility.
Thank you. Thank you. That's diminishing marginal utility. I hope we all support that. All right, let's move forward. There is another question over there. Can somebody tell us what it is? Your parents gave you the $400 you thought you needed to purchase books for the semester. When you realized your books were much cheaper than you bought, you decided to purchase all the required and recommended books instead of just a few. What effect are we experiencing here?
Income effect.
Income effect. Do we all support that?
Yes,
That's income
yes.
effect. Thank you. And the last one will obviously be what? What we have never said. When the price of strawberries is high in the winter, you purchase apples. But in the summer, when the price of strawberries drop, you purchase strawberries. What effect is this? That is definitely what we have not mentioned. So the last one is what? Substitution effect. So all things being equal, all these that we are all these examples that we are talking about, I want you to have it at the back of your mind that all factors remaining constant, this is going to happen. Okay, this is going to happen. All right, and now let's move quickly onto the market demand. The market demand. The market demand. You know, individual demand curves slopes, okay, from downward from left, okay, to right for reasons and the substitution effect. Now let's see how individual demand curve add up to make a market demand curve. Okay, somebody might like to buy Toyota in let's use the United States. In New York, you got 5 people interested in buying Toyota. You go to Connecticut, 2 people interested in buying Toyota. You go to Ohio, maybe 1 person. Let's see how all these things, okay, all these consumers sum up to become what we call it, a market demand. Okay, a market demand, because at the end of the day we put all of them together. So the definition says the overall or the aggregate of the demand, okay, or service or resources represent that kind of demand curve. Okay, it represents the aggregate demand, all the demands, as I said, from economics class to maybe organizational behavior class to accounting class. You put all those demands together, then you get the market demand. Okay, that is the aggregate demand. I'm not sure if somebody have something else to tell us. Is somebody trying to tell us something? Okay, so that is what we have. So it represents the summation of the quantities demanded by individuals, firms, states, or even nations at price over a fixed period of time, all else held constant, or all other things remaining constant. That would be demand for the market, or the market demand. Let's look at that here with the illustration that we do have. See, we have 2 what we call it, Julius demand for Italian dinners. Okay, for Italian dinners. Now let's try to get the understanding from what Julia is demanding. Okay, let's see at the end of the day how it's gonna look like. At the price of 15, she can only go in for 1. Okay, at the price of 10, 3, and then at the price of 5, it's going to be 5. At the price of $5, I mean. Now let's look at Martin's. Martin will also be willing to do what? To purchase 2 quantities at the price of 15, and then at the price of 10, 3, and then 5, 4 respectively. Okay, that is for Martin. Now, when we put these 2, don't forget, in a real market, it's not just going to be 2 people. It could be 10, it could be 100, it could be, the number will be undefined or infinity. Okay, so this is just an example that these 2 people's, their demand becomes the aggregate sum, the aggregate or the total, okay? It becomes the market demand. So let's look at Julius and then Martin's being put in together. As you can see, there is an additional sign over here, addition sign over here between Julia and then Martin. And we have Julia's purchasing power and what she's able to purchase in terms of quantity. And we do have the same for Martin's. At the end of the day, we will see Julia and Martin's, okay, their purchasing power, their quantity that they are able to purchase based on their purchasing power, okay? So at the end of the day, this is what we're going to have. That is 3, 6, and then 9. Let's move to the next slide for you to get the understanding. Okay, multiple individuals demand. Okay, so at a price of say 15, we have Savannah's, we have Kadim's, and we have Julia and what? Martin's. And this is how they are going to spend their money by purchasing this product at these quantities. Okay, at the price of $10, this is what will happen. At the price of $5, this is what will happen. Let's move it forward and then get the explanation as to what happens. Okay, let's see what happens when we do all this summation, or when we put all this together. What happens over here? It's going to slope downwards from left to the right. Okay, that is the demand curve. So Julia or Julie and Martin's demand, this is how it's going to slope. So we have $15 at 3 quantities. Okay, that is putting both of their purchasing power together. They are able to afford 3 Italian dinners. Okay, when they reduce the price to 10, they are able to purchase 6, okay, to the price of 10. Okay, right there. And then when they reduce the price to $5, they were able to afford 9 Italian dinners. Good. So the market demand curve is individual demand curves added together. Okay, so you look at Julia and Martin's demand, okay, but at the end of the day, it came from Martin and Julia. So Julia is the black one, and then Martin is this what color is it? I am colorblind. Who can give us this color? Is it deep yellow? At the end of the day, that's what we have over there. Okay, so when we put these two together, you see a different market curve over here, okay, which is also in blue. Okay, that is the demand for Julia and Martin together. So that is the market demand at the end of the day. In most real application, markets are not just 2 individuals. Please, I want to stress on that, so that when you see a question somewhere, you really understand. Market could be it could be traded among as much as you can think of. Each and everyone should know that this is just a sample or an illustration, and market cannot be just between 2 people. So let's go into what we term as change in demand. Change in demand. Change in demand. With the market change demand curve, what happens? With the market change demand curve, what happens when there is a change in demand? Okay, what happens on the demand curve when the price drops from $5 to $3? Okay, when the price drops from $5 to $3. Okay, Let's try to analyze that. Let's try to analyze that. So change in quantity demand or quantity demanded for the gasoline. Okay. When there is a change in the quantity demand, it's going to move along the same quantity demand curve along. Okay, when there is a change in the quantity in the demand, but when there is a change in the quantity demanded, okay, it's going to shift the entire demand curve either to the left or right. Okay, I hope we get the explanation. When there is a change in demand, it's going to happen along the demand curve. But when there is a change in quantity demanded, it's going to shift the entire demand curve either to the left or right. Okay, this one is going to shift it either to the left or right. Okay, but quantity demand, it will happen along the same demand curve. It's gonna go like this, either crooked, something like that. But the entire demand curve, this one, will shift to the left or to the right when there is a change in quantity demanded. I'm not sure if somebody is having any sort of confusion over there. So, a principle in economics states that as the price of a good or service or else all other things remaining constant, okay, or all other factors remaining constant. That is what we are trying to put across. We can get a change in demand if a non-price variable changes, non-price, okay. This is say a move of the entire demand curve being as a result of maybe is it Ahmed who said it or somebody who mentioned it? It could be the taste, okay, of the consumer, okay, and it could be whatever the product is, that is the interest the person have, okay. This can cause the entire demand curve, okay, the market demand curve to shift to either the right or left, okay. And this comes from the initial law of demand. So the change in demand, what happens to the change? What happens to the demand for bottled water on a hot day at the beach? What happens? What happens? Can somebody give us some information on that? Anybody want to talk? What happens to the demand for bottled water on a hot day at the beach?
The demand will increase on total. Go ahead.
Ahmed, go ahead.
As the demand for the bottled water will increase due to the weather stage. People will increase the use of bottle at the hot day.
That's good. Anybody else? Okay. So it's so hot at the beach. No matter what it is, you might need something to quench your thirst. Again, all things remaining constant, all other factors remaining constant, the demand for bottled water will increase. Okay? The demand for bottled water will increase because it is hot at the beach. Not forgetting that others will go for ice cream, others will go for beer, others will go for soft drinks. That's why we said all things remaining the same or all factors remaining constant. When there is this situation at the beach, bottled water will increase. I hope we all get that. Good. So this is what I was talking about earlier on. Okay, increase in demand. Increase in demand. Okay, at every price, people will demand more bottled water, no matter what it is. This is what we call an increase in demand. An increase in demand is the quantity demanded of a good, services, or resources at every price. Okay, as you can see graphically, an increase in demand is represented by a rightward shift of the demand curve. Okay, as you could see from there. What happens to demand for bottled water when it rains at the beach? Likely, nobody is going to be interested in buying water. That does not mean nobody will buy water. The demand will do what? Will go down. Okay? The demand for the water will go down. Therefore, what happens? There is going to be a shift. Okay? There is going to be a shift. So at the end of the day, you would see that you will not have that many people being interested in buying water. And that is what we are trying to talk about. Okay, so this is increase in quantity demanded versus increase in demand. Okay, increase in quantity demand and quantity demanded. As I explained earlier on, increase in demand is along the same demand curve. Wherever you are, you could see my my cursor moving along the demand curve. Okay, it's along the same demand curve, but with the quantity demanded, there is going to be a shift. Okay, either to the left or to the right. This one, it says to the right because there is an increase in demand. Okay, the reason why it could be decreased, the reason why it could move to the left, it means there is a decrease. Okay, so this one is an increase in demand, that is in the quantity demanded. Any question, any misunderstanding over here? Okay, same thing applies over here. Okay, there is a shift, sorry, there is a change along the demand curve, and there is a shift to the left, which means there is a decrease. There is a decrease in the quantity demanded, and there is a decrease in quantity demand over here. This is the illustration for quantity demand, and this is the illustration for quantity demanded. Any question? Okay, determinants. Sorry, determinants of demand. Determinants of demand. Determinants of demand. What causes demand? Determinants of demand. All right, and we have a lot of information under this, and the first one we're going to be talking about is income. Is income. You know, no matter what it is, income will have a play in whatever we do. Okay, no matter what it is, income will have a play in whatever we do. Okay, so the first determinant that we're going to talk about in demand is income. Okay, how much determines demand? How much determines demand? Can somebody tell us that? Can somebody explain what that is? How much determines demand? Somebody, that's what I said earlier on.
Yes, actually, the income increase that make people buy more of less of products according to the type of product. So, for example, when my income increase, I will buy more of luxurious products and give up buying products that are cheap or inferior, and vice versa. So my income affect the goods I buy.
Thank you, Noran. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes. when the income change, the quantity of our demand will change. Means if I got an increment to my raise, I might be able to buy from the same product on the same price, more from the same product with the same price.
Very good.
And vice versa.
Very good. Thank you, Awal. Clement, you want to say something? Is that Clement?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, not too far from what their contributions. The income, depending on the income of an individual, if a high income earner, his demand will be higher than somebody with a lower income. Somebody with a higher income will go for the consumer, all these goods, products, products that are of high quality or high demand. So in other words, the income of a person determines the demand of a particular product in the market. There are products that somebody with that's earning $1,000 cannot afford. Somebody who's earning $10,000 can afford. So the demand for those particular goods that the product prices are high are limited. So the demand for those products will be low because of the incomes of the people in the population.
Okay. Thank you so much, Clement. So we have heard enough from our colleagues. All I'm going to add it to is all factors remaining constant. Demand curve reflects the willingness and ability to buy a good, services, or maybe resources. Okay, all factors remaining constant. Okay, no matter what it is, income is one of the variables that whether you like it or not, it's going to be remain constant for a change to happen, in somebody's ability to maybe get a product or get a service or resources. So if income changes, consumers' willingness and ability to buy a good, okay, changes as well, no matter what it is, resulting in maybe in a new demand relationship. Okay, resulting in maybe a different or new demand relationship. Okay, so that is what we are trying to talk about. So when consumers come for more or less to spend, the demand curve will also do what? Shift. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, what is your demand for a new home? Practically, we have to understand what we mean. So what is your demand for a new home? This is almost the same information we just related. And I believe Clement might have given us something more. You see, somebody wanted to talk? Oh, that was Clement. Go ahead, Clement.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Like what we just discussed earlier. Now, the cost of this home is high. The price, the demand for this is high. So the demand for this will depends on the cost, the price, and the needs. So if people of higher income, if they have more people of higher income, they can go for this, and then the price will not determine the buyer. But
exactly.
If we have more people of lower income, then the demand for this product will be low.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was exactly I was going to refer to, you know. So no matter what it is, your income level will influence your demand for this house. Is it within your purchasing power? If your demand for this house is within your purchasing power, or if it's within your income level, then the willingness and the ability to buy the house becomes available to you. Okay, you should know this from your own experience, no matter what it is. From your own experience, you should know this based on your daily or your weekly or monthly budget and activities in life. Okay, you should know this. Okay, that is what a demand for a new home will be for you. So now let's quickly jump into the next slide. Is asking us what a normal and inferior goods are. We're going to discuss this quickly. And normally goods are divided or categorized into these kind of groups. Either it's normal or inferior. Okay, normal or inferior goods. How do we define a normal good? How do we define a normal good? You know, a normal good is a good for which there is a direct relationship between the demand for the good and income. That's a normal good. Okay, for normal goods, an increase in income increases the demand, and a decrease in income decreases the demand automatically. A good with a positive income elasticity of demand, that is what we are talking about. That is normal good. And again, we can relate this to our normal and our daily lives. And it's something that happens to almost everybody on this line. No matter what it is, you will definitely be patronizing a normal good. And this kind of definition will affect or will be the backbone or the reason for your purchases, no matter what it is general. Okay, when what do we call it? What is the relationship between the demand for the good and income, which means an increase in income would definitely cause somebody to do what? To want more of that product. And a decrease in income would definitely cause somebody to reduce the affection or the ability and willingness to get that product. Anybody have something to say? Good. Let's move forward. So that is a normal good. A normal good. All things remaining constant, a normal good. When there's an increase in the demand, in the income, you will definitely see what? The person trying to get more. Okay. When you have an increase in your paycheck, what are the stuff you definitely buy more? Can somebody share with us? Can somebody share with us? When there's an increase in your paycheck, maybe you get a yearly increase. What do you normally do? Normal goods. What comes into mind?
New smartphones, for example, latest models.
The latest model. Yes. Again, thank you so much, Nora.
Yes.
Come again, Nora.
No, I was interpreting what I have said. Nothing more.
Sure. So definitely, you know, we've gone through this MBA program, we suffered. Eventually, we came out and we've been able to get a better job. Guess what? When you get an increase in salary, you're definitely gonna at least treat yourself good. Probably you might one day call me and tell me to meet you somewhere, and then you treat me good. You know, this is what we are talking about. You will definitely have that kind of willingness to spend more for normal goods when there is an increase in income. Okay, somebody will decide to have a car as a normal good. Somebody will have maybe, as Clement said, somebody's normal good will be a house. So whenever he gets an increase in income, he would like to buy a new house. That's what the person desire or his willingness and ability to buy. So your income would definitely influence that kind of purchase. Somebody would like to go for vacation, or somebody would like to buy a new flat screen television. Okay, whenever there is an income increase or the increases or her pay, you would like to do that. Okay, so this again is practical for each and every one of us. For each and every one of us. And don't forget, whenever there is a decrease in income, you see the same thing. So the other side is correct. Okay, So the other side is correct, or the opposite is also correct. When there is an increase, when there is a decrease in income, it's going to affect people's demand for normal goods. It is going to affect people's demand for normal goods. And we can see that right now in this kind of economy we find ourselves globally. We can see that now money is very difficult to come by. So people know what to buy and what not to buy. Okay, and that is exactly the economics, or the practical economics, that we can all share and then experience wherever we are, and this will always add to your managerial skills, your executive direction, or supervisory skills, so that when you get to that level, you know what to at least spend the organization money for at what time. And that is what a good manager or a good executive or director or supervisor should aim at. So this economics is all giving us that kind of future knowledge to be able to be good managers and good leaders. What is inferior good all about? What is inferior good all about? Okay, a good for which there is an inverse relationship between the demand for the good and income. For inferior goods, an increase in income decreases the demand. Okay, and a decrease in income increases the demand. A good with a negative income elasticity of demand is what we are talking about. You know, this is the type of good that sometimes we might not really be bothered about that kind of good. Okay, we might not be bothered, but once we are in that category, we will keep enjoying that product until something changes. Okay, until something changes. As you become worthier, you switch to maybe eating better food. Okay, as you become worthier, you switch to eating better foods, and then that is how we normally try to live life. I cited an example earlier on too. When you are going through this MBA program, you're struggling. College students frequently consume or will consume more cheese or cheap or inferior goods. Okay, let me put it that way. Okay, but once your income goes up after maybe securing a great job, okay, out of your MBA program, then you have to change things. Okay, and that is how inferior goods can also be considered in this category. I'm not sure somebody have any explanation. Which kind of good is rice? I'm sad to say that. I'm very, very sad to say that. With all due respect, being inferior does not make anyone on the line inferior. We are just using this as an example. Okay, rice is considered as an inferior good, right? Rice is considered as an inferior good. Therefore, this effect is going to have an impact on rice. Okay, when there is a change. Okay, when there is a change in one's ability, it's going to affect inferior goods. Okay, there is going to be it's going to affect inferior goods, and that is all that we are talking about. So inferior goods, we should all know that when your income goes up, okay, the demand for inferior goods will automatically go down. Please, you got to treat yourself good. When God willing, you are able to secure a better job after your MBA. And this is the example we are talking about. Treat yourself good. Make sure that
Professor,
that food. Go ahead.
I think the inferior goods, it depends on the culture and basically the culture of each one. Like for example, this rice for us,
Exactly.
like for us, it's not an inferior. I would go for it if I have money, and if I don't have money, I would go for it because I like rice.
You're right. You're right. That's what we have been saying all along. Okay, and I like what you said. Culture. Somebody might be somewhere in say say North of America, might not be interested in eating rice. Somebody might be in East Africa, might be interested in eating rice every day because that might be the cheapest. Are you with me? Therefore,
yeah, I'm with you.
Yes. So therefore, when there is an increase in this person's income, he would like to change the kind of food he's been eating. Okay, because this is something that he has not been, he or she has not had the opportunity to do what? To exploit or to have the chance to eat. You know, somebody have been eating from home every day. So if he's able to secure a better job, he might decide to go to where? The restaurant and have fun. Probably I'm going to invite Ahmed in the near future when I try to see the president of United States so that we can have a what do we call it? A diner together. All right. So
and I'm waiting to be the president. Don't worry. When I be the president, I will invite you. No worries.
Thank you for that. In that case, we have a good lunch.
Definitely. But Professor, the inferior goods.
Yes.
If I have less income, then I will have increase in that, and vice versa.
That's right.
So
yes.
So in this case, if we will talk about eating in a restaurant, okay, it doesn't mean that when I have a high income that I will go every day to eat in the restaurant.
Not obviously. Yes. Yes. Your
but
income
still,
goes.
I have to say that this eating in a restaurant is an example for a normal good.
Yes.
Because the ability to go to the restaurant becomes more or higher when I have more income.
You are correct.
Okay, so we are talking here about the ability to consume
this
more
inferior goods. These inferior goods, they are the food that, like I said, this is something that no matter, I don't want to use that situation whereby you're going to categorize some people like that. But when we don't have enough in our pocket, we tend to patronize that more. Okay, that is what we see that to be an inferior good. When we don't have enough in our pocket, we tend to patronize more of that product. In a simple explanation, I'm not sure if, but you made it clear on that.
Well, in this, using the same example, if eating in a restaurant is an example for normal good, then
that's correct.
Going for a charity place is an example for inferior good, right? Yeah, I think
going to a charity place when your income go down. Yes.
Increase.
Yes.
So this
that's
is an
right.
inferior good. Okay.
That's correct.
So it's not only about goods. It's not about products. It's also about behavior.
Exactly. Don't forget, we are always using economic term, all things remaining constant. So somebody's behavior might cause that as well. Taste and preference. Don't forget, taste and preference. Probably somebody, no matter what situation he finds himself, he would like to at least be within whatever he used to do. So he will struggle. He doesn't care. You know, and somebody might feel like, yes, I have to maybe try to change myself a little bit. As a result, that behavior, that taste, that preference will cause him to do what? Follow that inferior good way of explanation. All that we are saying does not mean that when you take maybe 10 people, they are going to behave the same. No. Some will decide to even spend more on good products when they get more money as a normal good. Okay, others will not do same. Okay, others will not do same because they feel like, hey, I have to change certain things in my life, and as a result, it's going to hurt me along the line. So why don't I save? Why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? So all others remaining constant, all factors remaining constant, this inferior good will see this kind of patronization. Okay, you have less in pocket, you definitely demand an inferior good. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, clear.
Good, thank you. So that was inferior good.
What? Okay, sir.
Now we have a question here that we can talk about it quickly.
I want to ask, sir.
Yes, come out, Clement. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. I want to ask if it's a normal example. If one is using bicycle and due to his increase in income, he now moved to use Mercedes-Benz. Would that be an example of an inferior goods?
All things remaining constant. If somebody is using a bicycle, okay, and there's an increase in his income, would that person be moved to Mercedes-Benz?
No, and the person moved to Mercedes-Benz. He abandoned his bicycle. Now, due to the increase in the income, he now go out to buy a Mercedes-Benz. He started using the Mercedes-Benz right now. Could that be the right example for the good?
For normal good?
No, for inferior goods.
For inferior good, would that be an example?
Yes. Or is it that inferior goods is only attributed or attributable to the eatable item?
To do, or all that we are trying to explain will base on all other factors remaining constant. Okay, like I said some few minutes ago, you might have 10 people. 2 people will not relate to what you are saying. They might be using bicycle. Okay, there might be an increase in their salary. They will still use bicycle. Are you with me?
Yes.
So all things remaining constant, all other factors remaining constant. When we say all other factors, you should know that people's expectation, as somebody mentioned, we have the taste and preference. We have so many things going into it. Okay, so that does not necessarily means it's going to be an inferior good for somebody, or an inferior good for somebody will not necessarily mean an inferior good for the other. You got it?
Yes, yes, okay.
Good. So an increase in Ashley's income has caused a change in the graph below. The good depicted must be what? Again, all things being equal. I don't want people to get it like what we are saying is what is going to happen. No. Again, all things remaining constant. What will be this?
It's an inferior good.
Inferior goods.
Okay, it's an inferior good because Ashley's income has downward increase, but there has been a decrease, right? Has there been a decrease or an increase? You can see this, right? We see this from demand curve 1 to demand curve 2, right? Are we there?
An increase in the income caused a decrease in the demand. So it's an inferior.
Okay. Anybody with a different understanding? Any confusion? We are all good, right? Perfect. So we do have another question over here. That is the opposite of this. A decrease in Ashley's income has caused the change in the graph below. The good depicted must be what?
Normal.
So normal. We all support that. Anybody have a different thought? Okay, that is good. That's Ahmed, right? So for normal, for normal goods, as your income decreases, bear in mind your demand also decreases. All other factors remaining constant. Now let's see if we can have a quick discussion on this. Think about the goods and services you buy on a regular basis. Okay, now think about or think back to a time when your income was significantly higher or lower than it is now. Were there things you bought then that you don't now? Or things you buy now that you didn't buy back then? Use your answers to these questions to find a few goods that are normal and inferior. Anybody? We are in a challenging time, so we have so many things we can use as an example. Go ahead, Ahmed.
Yes, eating in a restaurant for healthy food and eating fast food. So healthy food and fast food. So if my salary or my income is high, I would go for healthy food. For a restaurant presents healthy food, okay, because it's usually higher in price. But if,
I don't know. I don't know why Ahmed doesn't want to give us a practical example. We want to know from yourself.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself. This is an actual case with me.
Okay.
Because here where I'm living, the fast food is cheap comparing to healthy food.
Okay.
So this is actually a practical with me.
Example.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Share with us. What will happen to you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we
can. For me, if my salary will increase, the government will be happy. I will pay more taxes. And yeah, that's happening here in Canada. And if my salary will decrease, the government will give child tax or give other benefits to me. So how is that?
I don't get what you are saying. Are you on this question or you are asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm asking the question because I cannot understand. The decrease in my salary. If I decrease my salary, then I will belong to the government who will give me fund because my salary is below the level.
I do understand you, but so you know that all things being equal, there are certain things that you do not qualify when your incomes go down. Okay, one, people tend to see you in a different way or label you in a different way. Again, we are in America, you are in Canada. Very good. When you are applying for somebody to come to you from a different country, how do you support that person? You cannot. So you lose an aspect of what you do receive from the government when you get to that category. So if you are thinking about having a lower income to be a beneficial to you, it has a disadvantage as well. Am I making sense, Judelin?
Yeah, you are.
Sure.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I said it's okay. Yes.
Yes, because we live in a country that's how it is. You might try to get everything without working, but eventually you lose so many things, and that's how you see people registering cars in other people's name, and they will end up selling it or maybe giving it to some people, and it becomes a whole lot of problems. They cannot buy so many things in their name, hiding money here and there. You cannot even have that kind of value as a human being. So you lose one to gain the other. That's what it is. Clement,
So
you want to say
right.
something?
Constant. Yes, Sam, you're right. So in economics, it's constant.
I did not hear you right, Judelin.
Oh, you're right. In economics, it's remain constant.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Clement, I thought your hand is up. Good. So we had some extensive conversation on that as well. So let's try to move into all that we have been talking about. Everybody want to bring in their own stuff. Yes, but at the end of the day, all that we have said cannot also hold without the determinants of this demand. Okay, that is taste and preference, number of buyers, expectations, and that is what it is. Okay, and these are not the only factors. There are more. Okay, because when you get to every country, every community, every place, you find out that there are other things that is causing demand to change. Okay, and this is what we can talk about in this class as well. That is determinants of demand, taste and preference. Okay, taste and preference. I'm not sure if somebody can see my slide. I'm not sure. It says increase preference for goods or service. Increase preference for goods or services. You know, if consumer tastes or preference for a good, okay, changes, so will the demand change. Okay, the greater the preference for an item, the further out demand curve will shift to the left or right, to the right. Okay, so that is what we have exactly on your shorts here. You know, for example, car has become popular as a superfood. You know, that's the demand for maybe car is going to shift. Or somebody mentioned rice. Rice is has become a popular food. Okay, no matter what it is, the demand for rice is going to increase. That's the taste and preferences. That is what I wish to at least have all the time. You know, somebody would like to have a specific toothpaste. I don't know if we've all thought about that. That's the common thing each and everyone can think about. Toothpaste. Some would like to use maybe a toothpaste with maybe say Pepsodent is the commonest one that you can find. Somebody would like to go with Close-Up. Somebody would like so many types of toothpaste. That is the taste and preference. Okay, taste and preference, and that is going to cause an increase in the demand for that product, regardless of what is going on. All things being remaining in this particular instance, not referring to income. Okay, not referring to income. That is what we are talking about. Anybody with any idea want to say something? Okay, so number of buyers. Okay, if consumer, if say consumer taste or preference for a good or service change, definitely the demand for it will change as well. Okay, definitely the demand for that particular good will change. But let's find out, the greater the preference for that item, what happens? Okay, what happens? We need to know. If the number of buyers increases, what happens? You see a change. Okay, because it's going to shift to the right. It's going to do what? Shift to the right. And that's what we do have in your shorts. Number of buyers. Increase in the number of buyers. Expectations. That's another one. Expectations are the anticipation that by individuals and firms, of course. Okay, and benefits sometimes that lie in the interest of the person, or maybe in future. Okay, that is the anticipation of that individual, that hey, what would I get from this? Okay, this is one of a little trickier to understand. If we expect changes in things like income, yes, if we expect changes in things like income or maybe future prices, that can have an impact, okay, on our current demand. Okay, I'm not sure wherever you are. For example, you bought a gas today, maybe $5 per gallon, and with a consistent change or increase in gas prices, you feel like maybe next week or next day there's going to be an increase in the price of gas. So you are using 2 cars, you fill up one yesterday, you feel like there is going to be a change maybe in the price, or there is going to be a reduction in the price of maybe a television in next couple of days. If you want to buy, you will always try to plan based on that. In America, we call something Black Friday. A lot of people will wait until that particular day to make shopping, or they wait for other holidays that they think there might be some sort of discount or a reduce in price. So the expectations also does affect people's demand. Anything somebody want to share? Anything somebody want to share? Okay, so we have expectation in terms of income. What do you do if you fear the economy is going to crash in the near future and you may lose your job? What would you do? Can somebody answer that? If you feel like the economy as we see right now is going to crash and you may lose your job, as a result, your income, what would you do? Are we there?
There is insurance.
Insurance, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Jodlin, go ahead.
There's insurance. If the economy crash, there's insurance.
Okay, somebody will decide to have insurance. Okay, that is Jodlin. Anybody?
You save money. You start to save money.
How who is that?
This is Rodas.
Rodas, okay, good. Yes. You save money. How do you save that money? I would like to know.
It can be from your current job. So the amount you save, you can increase it. That's another. That's one option.
Okay.
and maybe you can find another job at the moment to
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, to get another kind of income, source of
Okay.
income.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. That's good. He's going to try to save money out of whatever he or she is making. Okay. So if he's making $20, he's trying to go and then maybe spend $5 and save $15, whatever it is. Yes, or get a second job to save money. But there is something that we just spoke about. We spoke about something some minutes ago. Yes, Clement, go ahead. Clement,
okay, one
go
can
ahead.
liquidate. One can liquidate the assets they have acquired over the time they had the income.
That was Sarah.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Yes. Go ahead, Clement. Okay, Ahmed. I think I saw your hand up. Ahmed.
Yes. Definitely, we will save money by reducing our purchases, by reducing our demands for products. So we will go for the basics.
Very good. That's what we were talking about, man. So I was waiting for you to talk about it. So our normal goods, our demand for that will decrease, right? So yes, that correct. Was that good. Thank you for that, Ahmed. That was a good one. So our demand for the normal good will definitely have to decrease for us to be able to save money. In that case, we will not be eating. We will now be somehow trying to adjust ourselves to eat the fast food instead of the healthy food. Sure. So yes, this is a practical class, and I believe we should all get involved. That helps to also build your ability in economics. Economics shouldn't be a class that should be read and then pour. Okay, you should be able to have a practice with it. Good. So there we go with another expectation. Somebody want to say something for us? Availability, expectation. Can somebody say something? Expectation. I want us to look at around. I want to look around. Look around. What is going on? You see, now the gas alone is enough for us to discuss. The gas prices alone is enough for us to discuss in an economics class. Okay, probably maybe the government of your country intends to maybe increase something, or perhaps taxes on gas or something like that. Okay, what is the expectation that you will have in terms of availability? Okay, you may rush out to maybe buy more gas. As at now, utilities in everywhere is being increased. If I talk about utilities, that is water bills, electricity bills, everywhere is being increased. Okay, people will tend to go in for solar. They will rush into something else. Okay, so the availability of that kind of product will cause people to rush for it. Okay, it will cause people to rush for it because they feel like, hey, they're going to increase taxes for importation of this particular product. Those who do imports will try to rush into it and try to get their product in before that increase comes in. That's availability. Okay, that's availability. That expectation is what we are talking about. So they may rush out, okay, to either buy more of the product, consume more before the increase of the price. Okay, that is what we are talking about in terms of expectation. So all things being equal, people will go in for more or get whatever they want to get before there is a change in that kind of category. Anybody have something he want to share? Again, future prices. What do you do if you fear the price is going to go up in the future? Similar situation. What do you do? What do you do? Just like what we have just said, availability. If you fear there is going to be shortage in Coca-Cola, what would you do? You try to go for more and then hoard it somewhere. If you feel like there is going to be a shortage in maybe a product that you've been patronizing or you've been consuming, you try to go for more before the shortage. That's availability. Now, future prices increase. You've heard that there's going to be a change in the price.
Actually, I have a practical example of my work. At the last, I think by March, there was a global crisis about inflation, and dollar prices increased according to each country. And so I work as a manufacturer or a supplier. So we have been informed from this earlier that there will be a less availability of raw materials. So we bought a very high number of stocks so we can prevent the inflation and prices effect on our business.
Thank you so much, Noren. Thank you so much. Let's share what we've been doing at our workplaces. We have supervisors here. What happened? I want to hear from each and everyone who can share. Future prices. Future prices. If you can share whatever you've been going through, it's just practical. Let's share and people will get to understand it practically. During COVID time, guess what? People cannot buy disinfectant, what do we call it? Hand sanitizer and all those things. So at the end of the day, like Nora just said, a lot of companies ordered, a lot of them are being afraid that one, there might not be there again availability, or two, there will be an increase in price, future prices. Okay, as a result, even as of today, those who are managers and supervisors in your organization, you will testify. There are some of those materials or some of those stock up that you did. They are still there, lying there. They are not. You are not doing anything with them. Some of them can. Some of you can share that. Anybody want to share? Okay, that's good. So thank you, Nora. And that's what we do have. Future prices can cause us to stack up more, try to buy more, put it at our backyard, whatever it is, just to avoid the price increase. So that's what we have. Now, let's try to get this through quickly. Determinants of demand in terms of substitutes and complements. Substitute and complement. Substitute and complement. Substitute and complement is something that we will always, at a point, consider if we don't really want to use price as a factor. Okay, we will definitely consider substitute and complement. Okay, our final determinant of demand is the availability of substitute and demand. Okay, substitutes or close substitutes are the goods that can be used in place of others. Okay, they are the goods that can be used in place of others. So assuming there is another good, maybe it's out of stock, the price is high, cannot be found, or with all those things we have just said, okay? Increase in prices, taxes, availability, and all those. These are some of the things that will cause demand to change as well. Close substitutes and complement. So that's close substitute for you. That's close substitute for you. A good that can be used in place of another. A good that can be used in place of another. And a complement is also another product. Sorry, it's another that can be taken with another product. Okay, that can be taken with another product. So that is the definition for substitutes. You can use it in place of the other. Can be used in place. What will happen if bus prices rise? The demand for the subway will rise, because that is not all things remaining constant. Not everybody can afford the prices of bus, so they will end up running to what? To subway. All other factors remaining constant. Don't forget about that. All other factors remaining constant. When the price of one product goes up, they will definitely go for the other. For example, again, in this situation, if there is an increase in Coke, okay, I might decide to go for what? Pepsi. I believe that's a perfect example, right? There's an increase in Coke. Pepsi is a competitor, and they produce something close to Coke, although different products. All right. So if there is an increase in one, it will cause others to do what? To in one way or the other try to go for the other close substitute. I'm not sure if I'm tempted to use this. If there is an increase in the price of the pen that we use to write, I will also use pencil. I'm not sure that will be fine with you, but it's possible. If there is an increase in in the price of pen, somebody can decide to use pencil. Okay, that is close substitute for us, and that is what we do have on our shorts. So increase in demand in terms of substitute, what effect would it have on our demand curve? Okay, that's what we have right there. That's what we do have right there. So it's gonna be along, okay, and the demand for Pepsi, the demand for Coke is going to shift. Okay, right there onto to the right. Okay, that's a close substitute. Okay, it's going to cause the demand curve to shift to the right. Okay, so when there is an increase in one product, the will shift to the right, which means an increase in that product. Good. Now, complement. Goods, services, resources that are used or consumed with another, as I said earlier on. They are goods and services that are used, or consumed with another. Okay, so somebody would like to have a bread, but he will still have to get maybe a peanut on the bread. Okay, so whenever there is an increase in in the use of that person's eating bread, he's still gonna have peanut butter. Okay, he's still gonna have a peanut butter. So it's going to be side by side. Whenever that product increases, you will see a change in that one as well. So whenever you buy, for example, what example can I give again? Anybody with smartphone will definitely have an app. You have an application. So once you have a smartphone, you definitely have an application. So you keep downloading applications. So it's going to increase. Once you have a smartphone, it's going to increase the amount of applications you definitely have as well. So it comes with it. It's a product you have to use with it. So you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. And that is compliment. I don't know. What do you think will happen if dorm prices rise? The demand for college classes will decrease. Again, all things being equal. Somebody might say, no, this does not make sense because we go to school online. Are you with me? But when we consider the brick and mortar, this can affect the intake of the school, because probably the students think they are paying too much for the dorm. Therefore, they will even boycott going to classes or the school. So it will reduce the amount of students being admitted because of the high rise or the demand for dorm prices. Is somebody hearing me? So
yes,
good. So that is what we do have, and this is the effect of a compliment. This is the effect of a compliment. We do have the demand for peanut, okay, and then yep, jelly is also there, okay. The demand for peanut and jelly is also there. So that is what we do have. I'm not sure if there is something that somebody need us to go back and look at it, but if not, then I can say a word or two. Any question from here? Good. Please, I just want to remind each and everyone that we have to know that when we post assignments, we need to be a little careful. Those who were here earlier on, I spoke to them. Our homework and then our quiz, we will always have 2 times attempt or 2 attempts for our homework. But for our quiz, it's going to be just an attempt. Please and please and please again, these are very simple questions that if you review the materials before taking the exam, you will not have any negative impact. And I will wait. The reason why I try to make it due on Sunday is because I want us to come to class, get more information before you sit for the exam. Take advantage of this. Do not rush into going into take the exams and then you have a low grade. Because once you get a low grade, it's going to be your grade. Okay? So try as much as possible to at least, if you want to get in touch with a friend, get more information about what you need to at least know before you take the class, please do so. These are just 15 questions and it's 45 minutes. Okay? 15 questions, 45 minutes. And if you definitely read through this material, you will not have issue. You will not. Even if you don't read, what I try to do is I try to make sure everything is captured in the PowerPoint presentation. So even if you review this PowerPoint presentation, by the time you come out, somebody can do this without even going into the textbook. Although I'm not suggesting not to read the textbook because it's going to give you the detailed information. Okay? But at the end of the day, make sure you review the material before you take the exam. Because I don't want anybody to come out of this class with a grade that I will not be happy, because at the end of the day, it has an impact on the teacher. Meanwhile, I know that I'm giving you what you're supposed to get. Okay, so let's try to at least help ourselves, try to at least master the material before we get into the test. Again, 45 minutes for 15 questions is way too much, but I believe we'll be okay moving forward. Let's try to do that, because as we get into more complex topics, you might not be making the grades that you've been making all along. So this is the time to make the good grades, so that if you slightly come down along the line, it's not going to affect your grade, which is the grade you anticipate to have. In the course of the week, I also had a couple of text messages from colleagues asking about the grade being an F grade, F grade, F grade. No, do not worry about the letter grade. Okay, you have to worry about the number grade. Okay, that is what you need to look at. At the end of the day, you will have the letter grade at the end of the semester. Okay, what I did was, the first discussion, I gave everybody across board the full mark, although people did not meet it. People did it after what time it is, whatever it is. I gave everybody the full mark. So if you are here and the first discussion you see 0 or something in front of you, send me a test. But apart from that, the second discussion and then the homework following that, everybody who did it will get the mark according to what they presented. Okay, I'm not sure if somebody have any question. There is something I said that is not clear. I'm available for questions now.
All right, Professor.
Yeah, Clement.
Yes, sir. So, concerning the assignment submission, I think perhaps maybe because I joined the lecture late, I was trying to post the second discussion, though a little bit late. That was a few days ago, but I discovered that it was showing logs. I could not submit that.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot. For Clement, yes, you will be exempted. Don't worry about it. We will give you something to do for you to make that mark back. Okay, just send me a test. Okay.
Thanks.
Are you there?
Right. Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sure, that's fine. Anybody else with any issue? If you feel like you don't want to share it here, please feel free to send me a test and I'll be able to discuss it with you personally. Okay. But if it's something that your colleagues will benefit, please just be open, and then we can all talk about it here so that they will benefit from that as well. Any question? All right, I believe there is no question, and we have brought this also to an end. I wish you all the best, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Professor.
You too, sir.
You too,
Have
Professor.
a good week.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good day.